Hey guys, Tony Maritato here, licensed physical therapist. And in this video, I shared this video separately earlier on my channel today. I wanted to discuss this case because I think a lot of people are going to see this. It's a clip from a real patient treatment, and they're going to have a lot of questions about it. So this was an individual who was in my clinic today. I'm going to mute the sound just so we can see what's going on. So you can see it's split screen, one's zoomed in, one's a little further away. Obviously, you can see what we would call a valgus knee on the right, the left one a little bit as well. You can see the looseness through the shoes. Now, these are obviously slip-on shoes. This particular individual has a hard time getting his shoes on or off, but there's clearly some movement patterns here that aren't optimized for this person. Now, a couple of things for you to consider. I know you guys are an audience typically who are planning on having a total knee replacement, or you have already had a total knee replacement. So this is where I always talk about, imagine your knee before the knee replacement. In this individual's case, you can see what we call the Q angle, the valgus changes that are going on in the knee. The knee's moving more medially, I guess it's that way, relative to the ankle and the hip. So now imagine a surgeon will get this individual in surgery, will put in a perfectly straight knee. The problem is now all of a sudden the ankle and hip are in completely different alignments. This individual is in his 80s. He's spent 8 decades creating the hip and the ankle to match the knee. Now all of a sudden in less than an hour, everything is going to be completely different. And so you can understand where in this particular case, if the knee moves lateral so that it's in line with the hip and the ankle, what's going to happen is it's going to create a lot more compressive forces on the medial knee, the inside of the knee. It's going to create a lot more tensile pulling apart forces on the lateral knee. And so that's going to affect the fibula. I've got other videos talking about the head of the fibula, how that's not necessarily involved in the knee replacement surgery, but it is influenced by the new alignment of the knee. It could potentially start causing problems at the hip, the low back, obviously the medial lateral ankle, and how the whole foot interacts with the ground. So this was a situation where I thought, this gentleman is dealing with some major mechanical challenges. I used to do a lot of work with orthotics. I used to do custom fitting, custom molds, custom creation of orthotics. I moved away from that as I moved to more of a minimalist footwear. And I tended to change my theories about, rather than artificially supporting parts of the foot and ankle, let's rebuild parts of the foot and ankle. Let's treat the foot more like a hand. Let's build the structure that provides support. But in a case like this, in the situation where somebody needs some mechanical changes and doesn't necessarily have the time to wait 5 years, 10 years, 20 years for the body to change on its own, this would be a situation where I would definitely look at some sort of orthotic, whether it be an off the shelf, whether it be a custom fit. You can see here in the video, I've got a gait belt. The only reason why I'm using a gait belt was because it was available and handy. I folded it over onto multiple layers to start to build up the medial side of the foot, the arch, just to see what happens mechanically if I can artificially lift the medial foot. And so what I did at this point wasn't quite enough to affect a change, but I'm going to jump ahead. I folded it over a couple more times, got it a little further underneath the arch. And now as we see, it's still not perfect, but it's improved. And so a combination for this gentleman of improved footwear, let's get out of these house slippers and let's get into a real pair of shoes, along with potentially some medial arch support or something going on, we will improve the biomechanics. Now, this is something that will have to be adapted to, will have to be broken in. He's not going to go from this alignment to perfectly straight overnight. But with time and with physical therapy, we'll stretch the structures that are short, we'll strengthen the structures that are weak, we'll get his body ready for new positions. And then that's how we're going to help him, whether he ends up having a total knee replacement down the road or not. The fact is that there are biomechanical things we can do today that are very easy, very inexpensive, that really can improve his quality of life, so that he can then make the decision about getting a knee replacement, having some other procedure done in the future. Guys, I hope this kind of explainer video was helpful for you. I always think it's important to get inside the mind of a therapist so that you, the client, you, the patient, know what we, the therapist, are thinking. And I promise you, everyone is thinking something differently. So just because I said something doesn't mean that everybody agrees with it. But for now, I thank you, and I'll catch you on the next video.